Thankfully, it looks like we're going to get a full dry practice here this afternoon, because as you can see there, as we looked into the distance behind Quartararo and Razgatlioglu, some very ominous looking dark clouds emerging off into the distance. 15th goes Toprak, 16th to Fabio Quartararo. These two have been working in tandem for much of this session. Got to say, the signs are encouraging as far as Maverick Vinales is concerned. Yeah, he's only down in 17th place, but he's a thousandth of a second over being a second away from Pedro Acosta. Pretty encouraging that by Maverick. I think you just said to him on day one, having been out of action since the Friday of Austin, you'll be within a second of Pedro Acosta in Barcelona. I think Maverick would have settled for that one. Pretty good job by Top Gun.
Yeah, he just needs laps on the bike, doesn't he, once again, because building the strength up off the bike is one thing, but you need to build up the strength also just by doing reps, as they say, and just putting laps in on the bike to understand. Just look how dark it is in the background. Fortunately, there are only 4 minutes of this session remaining, but with those clouds rolling in, you don't want to be caught outside the top 10 if the rain does hit.
Yeah, and of course, if we do get some rain, which has been forecast for the late stages of this afternoon here in Barcelona, you can see once again just how dark it is off in the distance. The on-board with Jorge Martin. It's going to wash away a lot of the rubber that's been laid down here on day one. They've been starting from scratch here on what is already a notoriously low grip Catalunya surface. It was certainly low grip for Jorge Martin when he decked it at turn 12 this morning through turn 3. Now this is where you really do shred those Michelin tyres. The heat generation on the right hand side, you can already see there Jorge Martin sliding his way on the exit. On the brakes now into turn 4. This is a good lap by Jorge, and boy does he need it. Oh no, it's gone away. He's gone away into turn 4. He's messing around with the left handlebar there, isn't he? Some buttons on the left handlebar. So what was going to be surely a Q2 lap at that stage for Jorge Martin, well, it's gone.
Yeah, it can be sometimes a little deceptive, that first sector. It only takes in turns 1, 2, and then the sector ends halfway through turn 3, and clearly the second sector wasn't a strong one for Martin. It's not really looking particularly special for Pecco Bagnaia either, who's down in the position he qualified in last year, 21st place, and at the moment the projection is he'll only climb 5 places.
He used to be so brilliant, didn't he, in Barcelona? What has happened in Catalunya of late for Pecco Bagnaia? Brad Binder just gone up into 3rd place, 138.780. What a session this has been for Binder. We've still got the factory KTMs 1st and 3rd. What about the only factory Ducati operating here in Barcelona? Well, it's a little bit better. Bagnaia goes up into 15th place, and we've got yellow flags are out at turn 10. So who's going to be potentially caught in? Oh, it's Joan Mir. Joan Mir's crash tally adds another one to the notch. This is an easy mistake to make. Trail braking into that very, very tight turn 10. It is one of the harshest braking zones on the Grand Prix calendar, as Joan Mir has just found out to his cost.
Yeah, and it snookered Jorge Martin as well. I'm not sure he was going to improve anyway, and he's not going to improve anymore, is he? The Le Mans winner goes down, another turn 2 crash, and that's Jorge Martin's fate sealed. He's heading for Q1 today.
He is indeed. It has been a day to forget for Jorge Martin. Talk about the ups and downs of a professional MotoGP racer. 5 days after his first Grand Prix victory since the back end of 2024, Jorge Martin finds himself on the floor twice on day one here in Barcelona, and more significantly, Jorge Martin 1 point behind Marco Bezzecchi in the World Championship coming into this round 6. He is in Q1.
And a confidence destroying, we hope it isn't, but that certainly will dent the confidence of Jorge Martin today. So the yellows were out at turn 10. Let's see now as Bezzecchi comes through whether they've cleared. We were sadly on the left-hand side of the bike with Bez, so we couldn't quite see whether they were flying or not. So he's in 8th place, so he could do with an improvement here just to ensure that he doesn't join his teammate in qualifying 1, because we've got Miller once again, who's latched onto the back of an Aprilia, who's going fast behind him.
Just wonder whether Martin might have had to just ever so slightly backed out of it for the Mir crash at turn 10. Now this is more like it. This is the Bagnaia of Barcelona of old, isn't it? A 139.060 with less than a minute remaining. Is that going to be enough? Jack Miller, fair play to Thriller Miller. A 138.911. The 43 bike in Miller slipstreaming Marco Bezzecchi. There's not been too much to smile about so far this year for Prima Pramac Yamaha, but Jack Miller, 7th, he is now on the leaderboard.
So Bagnaia is now 10th again, and Agura is out as it stands at the moment. The Le Mans podium finisher's down in 11th place.
I just wonder whether Jorge Martin might have just had to have ever so slightly backed out of it on the previous lap for the Mir yellow flag, and it was a 140.8 that previous lap, which was a couple of seconds off the fastest pace, more than enough to just take that little bit of crucial heat out of the left-hand side of that front tyre. We'll find out later when we speak to Jorge on what's been a bruising day for the Martinator. Here is Marco Bezzecchi, looking pretty comfortable, looking pretty safe. You have to feel that 138.831 from Bez, which he did just put in on his previous lap, that surely is good enough for a spot in Q2. Yeah,
and Bagnaia at the moment is just going to be a nervous spectator because he's going slowly. He will not be able to respond if any of the riders behind him improves and knocks him out. The two looking most likely are Zarco and potentially even Quartararo, who's of course done much of his afternoon helping Toprak on the Pramac Yamaha. He's trying to help himself now in the latter stages.
Well, 7 days ago, this time last week, Zarco lit up Le Mans. He set the fastest time on Friday, didn't he, in front of his home crowd. Where is this coming from? Zarco, both Frenchmen are flying here, aren't they? Quartararo potentially 19th to 9th. Could be even better for Fabio. Look at him. We know how good he is through these last right-handers. What about Zarco as well? Over the line we come. Zarco's gone 4th. So that's pushed Pecco Bagnaia down to 11th place. All eyes now on Quartararo, who's deep in the 4th sector. Zarco then 4th. What about Quartararo over the line? 19th to 9th. He sneaks in. That's bad news for the beast. Bastianini gets dumped out as well late on.
And Ralph Fernandez is precariously sitting in 10th. He's on course to improve. What was the margin in the top 10 last weekend in Le Mans? The closest Friday practice ever. I think we're beating it today.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. 0.272 of a second is covering your top 10 right now. And what about Ralph Fernandez? He's not done. He is not done. He's 10th at the moment, right on the cusp. Out of the final corner, he powers the track out of Aprilia. Ralph Fernandez over line, out into 4th. So it does get even closer. Fabio Quartararo, is he going to survive? Is he going to get in through the skin of his teeth? He is indeed. One track out of Aprilia goes through. Iagura not through after his early drama at turn 2. So 2 of the Aprilias that were on the podium, 5 days ago in Le Mans, 5 days later, they are from the podium to Q1 here in Barcelona. Jorge Martin's first Q1 appearance of the season, and it's all because of this. Let's watch this front tyre now. Is going to make an angle which Jorge Martin does not want. It's already gone. It has already gone, and gravity takes over. So for all of the spectacular shots we've seen of Jorge Martin going through turn 5, it's shoulder down in not a good way once again as far as the Martinator is concerned. And we say this so often, but look at some of the names in Q1. Bagnaia, Bastianini, who's had great pace in race trim, he's 11th. Agura and Martin, they're all in Q1. Maverick Vinales was within a second of Pedro Acosta. When all's said and done, it's Pedro Acosta that's going to lead a brilliant Friday here as far as the factory KTM squad are concerned. Acosta fastest, Brad Binder 3rd. Sandwiched in between those two is 2025 Catalan winner Alex Marquez. So Ralph Fernandez, Zarco, Di Gianantonio, Bezzecchi, Mir, Miller and Quartararo are through to Q2.